Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel, and we're back with another news show. The news show is back. We're getting close to the kick-off of the Premier League again, so we said we'd jump back in with some Manchester United news. We've got a break of a few days in relation to the World Cup as well, so plenty to discuss in relation to Manchester United. And a big talking point at the moment, and it's been reported in the last maybe 24 hours or so, is that potentially Manchester United could potentially be sold by the end of the first quarter. So we're talking about March, which is fantastic news really in relation to getting new owners in. Plenty of other things to talk about. Obviously, we're going to talk about potential new owners. Have Apple pulled out of a deal for Manchester United? If they have Amazon come in? There's been reports of Amazon potentially looking at buying Manchester United as well. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk transfer news as well, guys. We've got lots to talk about in that area. Obviously, Ramos, Gakpo, Rashford and Dalot then as well. Potential new deals for them. And of course, Alejandro Garnacho as well. So we've got plenty to talk about. Make sure you smash a like on the video as well, guys, if you haven't done so already. As you know, it helps the channel out a ton. If you're new, hit the follow and subscribe buttons. But yeah, get your thoughts and comments in on the chat as well, and we'll get them answered. Skull and Bone, thanks for the gift. Really appreciate it. Who have we got in on TikTok first and foremost? Jock is there. Good to see you. Willie is there. No one's playing tonight, Willie. It's just a transfer show, news show. Ronnie is there as well. Let's see. Adam is in. Good to see you, pal. Ian is there as well from Austin, Texas. You're back from the pub. I hope you weren't there all that time. But yeah, and we've got Twigs. Faison is in there as well. Good to see you guys on YouTube as well. So look, let's get cracking into the news show. Obviously, the main news at the moment is in relation to the sale of the club, and we've got some snippets. Anybody watching on TikTok, by the way, we are live on YouTube. I've got some cutouts of the reports that I'm going to put up on the screen on YouTube. Obviously, I can't do it on TikTok, so if you want to head over to the YouTube channel for the full experience, link is on the homepage, or just search United Community Channel on YouTube. But obviously the sale of the club is the big talking point in relation to Manchester United at the moment, and it has been reported today that the Rain Group, which basically they overseen the sale of Chelsea as well, and they're the ones that are going to be brokering the deal for Manchester United. This is a good thing in my opinion, because we can see how quickly they got the deal done for Chelsea. Obviously that was different circumstances, and it needed to be done very quickly, so they're the guys to get it done. But they've suggested that it's targeting a full sale of Manchester United in the first quarter of 2023 at a price anywhere between 6 and 7 billion pounds sterling, which is huge. And it's good news, you know what I mean. They also insist there won't be the same rush that sped up the sale of Chelsea when the UK government imposed a deadline. So obviously we know that was in relation to Roman Abramovich, his ties with Russia, and the fact that he was basically made sell the club quickly. So these guys are overseeing the sale of Manchester United as well. And like I said, it's good news, but I mean, you know, and obviously I'll put it up on the screen as well, just to let you know about the whole Apple deal, and sources have confirmed as well, this coming from The Athletic, that Apple has no intention of making a bid for Manchester United. Okay, so Apple are basically ruling themselves out of the race. So this is brilliant news, you know, and hopefully there's some real, I suppose, truth behind it, because we're talking about, obviously, our owners are selling the club now. And a lot of people have said that, you know, the owners are selling the club. Are they really going to invest into the club and into, you know, buying new players in January? And my stance on that has always been that they've never invested their own money into Manchester United anyway. So they're not going to start doing that in January regardless. If Manchester United are going to be buying players, it's going to come from Manchester United revenue. So club generated funds rather than owner funds. And there's no shortage of that for Manchester United. Now, you mightn't have the same level of of investment, that you would in a summer transfer window, of course. But there is going to be money there, and again, we've seen we've seen Ten Hag say it on multiple occasions so far that we're working behind the scenes constantly on trying to sign players, not just any players, but the right players. And I think that's what's important there. But in relation to the sale of the club, if something can be done this quickly, I think it's a very, very... Obviously, we want the Glazers out as quick as possible, but it's a very positive thing in relation to, and I go back to say the likes of, and I've said this, a few times as well, say, take Jude Bellingham, for example, and Manchester United basically ruling themselves out of the running for him. And, I don't think anything is off the table when we get new owners coming in. And I've said it before that if we can get new owners in any stage before the summer, I think it's going to be very good news for Manchester United, due to the fact that they will come in with an influx of cash. They'll want to make a name for themselves, and they'll want to put their own stamp and their own authority on the club, So Manchester United being ruled out of running for Jude Bellingham at the moment doesn't mean that a new owner coming in is not going to say, he's the marquee signing we want to have. We want to get him in. We want to make a statement, whatever. Now, it might be Jude Bellingham. It might be Victor Osimhen. It might be, whoever it may be. So I think the sooner we can get owners in, the better. And certainly if we can get them in before the summer, it's going to give us a big advantage going into the summer transfer market in relation to who we can buy and, who potentially might want to come to us. Let's see what people are saying here. Who's Ramos? Did Man United sign him, says Willie? No. So this is the Ramos that plays. He's playing for Portugal and Benfica at the moment. United have been linked with him potentially. But I get into the transfers in a few minutes, guys. Let's see. 100% agree, says Dale. Man United for life, says, what football team do you support? Have a guess. Let's see. Twig says, when's the Prem starting back up? So the Premier League is starting back on Stevens' Day, is what we call it in Ireland, but Boxing Day for anybody else. So yeah, that's the first round of fixtures. United are not actually playing on Stevens' Day, Boxing Day. They're playing the day after. All fixtures are not in the one day. Barry is in. Good to see you, Barry. Faison says, no, I'm not reading that. Let's see. Any news on Ronaldo? No, I'm not talking about Ronaldo anymore. He's gone. Let's see. Yeah, so that's basically in relation to it. Now, in relation to potential new owners coming in, there's been reports suggesting today that Amazon are interested in buying Manchester United. Now, there's been no shortage of mega companies that have been linked with Manchester United. Obviously, Apple was the first one. And we have to take all of these with a pinch of salt as well. When the Apple news broke, everybody got excited. I said, just hold on now a minute. Let's not get too carried away. And obviously, reports today and yesterday have suggested that Apple do not intend on, buying Manchester United. So now the rumours are that Amazon are interested in buying Manchester United. I think, if I was to put the two side by side, I would have more belief in the Amazon rumours, given the fact that Amazon already have certain rights to stream Premier League games or to show Premier League games on Amazon. So it's not outside the realm of possibility that Amazon could potentially be looking at trying to buy Manchester United. And of course, we know the war chest that they would have in relation to funds. They would basically have unlimited funds, to sign anybody they wanted. And maybe that would mean that Manchester United could finally compete with the oil-rich clubs, the PSGs, the Man Cities, these kind of clubs that basically have unlimited funds. What do I think of it? Do I think it could happen? It reminds me an awful lot of, I don't know, there's probably a lot of people watching that are not old enough to remember, but when Sky, was it B2B? Sky B2B? So basically Sky tried to buy Manchester United in 98, 99, I think. And the UK government eventually didn't allow the sale to happen, didn't allow Sky to buy Manchester United. The reason being is because it was seen as a kind of a monopoly move, because Sky were the only broadcasters of the Premier League at the time. Manchester United, obviously, at the time were the biggest team, winning all the time. The majority of the time. So it was seen as an unfair advantage, basically. Now, in relation to Amazon potentially coming in, there is similar, I suppose, aspects to Amazon taking over, buying Manchester United now than, say, the potential sale or the potential buying of Manchester United by Sky in the 90s. But I think the major difference is that this time around, Amazon are not the only broadcaster of the Premier League. Obviously, you have Sky and you have BT Sports as well. So I don't think it would be seen as big of an issue. But again, people. I've been watching on Twitter today already. People have been, debating whether it would be a good thing or not, for Amazon to buy Manchester United. And again, I will go back to what I've always said, that I don't mind who buys Manchester United. I really don't, as long as they're competent, they put the right people in the right places in terms of football people, in football roles, and making, footballing decisions, and, businessmen involved in business decisions. And as long as they invest in the club properly and are competent and they want the best, then I'm all for it, regardless of who they are. There's only so much we can do as fans, and so much that we can control in relation to who buys the football club. If it's a state-backed organisation like the Saudis or, Dubai or anywhere like that, if it's someone like Jim Radcliffe, obviously that he's going to be the majority of people's first choice, given the fact that he's a lifelong Manchester United fan. But he's just one person, and one company and one potential bidder that could potentially buy Manchester United. So we don't know who it's going to be. It does look like, according to these reports again, it does look like it's going to be quite fast, hopefully. I mean, the sooner the better. And yeah, I mean, whoever it is going to have some serious wealth, given the fact that you're going to be paying anywhere between 6 and 7 billion for the club. Whoever buys the club is going to have some serious funds behind him, which is a good thing for Manchester United, you would have to say, Poet says, can stop any owner buying up all shares. Yeah, but I understand what you're saying there, absolutely. As long as they have the majority stake, they're going to be in charge, Ronnie says the corporation would make for awful owners, just more Glazer nonsense. Well, I don't see one individual person that has the kind of money to buy Manchester United. I think them days are gone. I really do. Even if you look at Jim Radcliffe, for example, if he is to buy Manchester United, he's not buying it himself. He's buying it through his company, Ineos. So Ineos would technically own Manchester United, but Jim Radcliffe owns Ineos, if you know what I mean. It's not going to be one individual person. It is the chances of a corporation or a group of investors, whoever it might be, that's probably what's going to happen, because of the finances involved in buying a club as big as Manchester United. In relation to the Glazers themselves, there has been some reports today, and I'll put it up on the screen on YouTube. For anyone who wants to check it out, head over to YouTube or live as well. It says Joel and Avram Glazer tried buying their siblings out from Manchester United last summer. This is what those talks with Apollo, a private equity firm, were really about, rather than finding funding for the stadium. Okay, and it goes on then to say, one source says that rather than go through the torturous process to take Manchester United public 10 years ago, Edward, Kevin, Brian and Darcy Glazer would have preferred to sell up entirely then. Joel and Avram tried to buy their siblings out again last summer. So there's mutiny within the ranks of the Glazer family. Not mutiny, but there's Avram and Joel seem to be the two members of the family that have been hanging on to Manchester United for this length of time. So it does look like the end is obviously is nearing. And like I said, the sooner the better, because the quicker we can get new owners into Manchester United, the quicker the influx of investment will come. We can just put it behind us, look to the future, and so on and so forth. But yeah, moving on then, guys. Let's talk transfers, and we've got some updates in relation to to transfers, and obviously we know Manchester United do need to, I suppose, improve in a number of areas. Whether that will be in relation to squad depth or where we need replacement, and obviously the main area is a striker. And sources have suggested that that Manchester United will not overpay for a striker in January, and Ten Hag has a lot of confidence in Anthony Martial as long as he can stay fit. Okay, so that's what one report is suggesting today. Now, I have no problem with Anthony Martial. I think he's a very talented footballer, and I think he does have a future at Manchester United under this manager if he can stay fit. Reports have suggested throughout the week, or throughout the last couple, is it just over a week maybe, since they've been back into pre-season training, that Ten Hag is very impressed with Anthony Martial's attitude, his desire, his work rate, and his quality overall. So Ten Hag does seem to be an admirer of them. Now, obviously, look, we're not going to hang our hat on Anthony Martial being the only striker we have at the club. Rashford is a wide player. He's not a number 9. We do need to to look at some options. Now, and in relation to options, obviously, this player is taking one game of the World Cup by storm, and that's Gonzalo Ramos of Portugal. Obviously scored a hat-trick on his debut, and a lot of teams have been linked with him instantly, because of it. Now, I'm under no illusions here that I don't think it's a good idea to go out and sign a player not only on the back of a good World Cup, but in this guy's case, on the back of one good performance in a World Cup. He had an unbelievable game where he scored a hat-trick in the last 16, but subsequently in the quarter-final he was substituted off, and had a pretty poor game. But Manchester United supposedly were already tracking Ramos, tracking his progress closely before the World Cup, and a lot of reports have suggested that Erik Ten Hag did have him on a shortlist last summer in relation to a potential striking option or attacking option. Now, the issue with this guy is he has a €105 million release clause in his contract for Benfica. Now, I cannot see any club paying 105 million for this guy. Now, if Benfica are willing to negotiate, do a deal, potentially get him at a cheaper price, then all well and good, but I don't see Manchester United really going at this lad. He needs to do, I think, was it Wolves were trying to sign him last summer from Benfica, and the deal collapsed. Look, we've seen down through the years players who get big moves on the back of good World Cups, and they turn out not to be good signings. James Rodriguez, for example, is a great one. Had a brilliant World Cup in 2014, I want to say, 2014, and has been basically travelling around Europe ever since, with good night, see you in the morning, has basically been travelling around Europe, signing for teams since. So I'm not convinced by him yet. He needs to. I don't think any club is going to be running to sign this guy just yet. I really don't. Let's see what people are saying here on TikTok. I want us to get Gakpo, says Football Edits. Jared says, alright, I don't know what that is. Zan says, at a weak Switzerland team, he scored. Who cares? Robbo says, a lot of players seem to always play better for country than club. It's a good point. And Zan says, Man United should grab Guardiola and get rid of Harry Maguire. I think Manchester United have been linked with him as well already. And Robbo says 70 million at most I'd pay for a striker and have him a regular starter. Poet says, did you not see the Ramos video? I think the deal is a no-go. I didn't. I have to say. But yeah, and obviously another player that we've been linked with quite heavily over the last maybe 6 to 7 months is Cody Gakpo. And he's probably the number one player we're linked with at the moment. The player that we have the strongest, I'd say probably the strongest chance of signing. And reports again have suggested today that and this is coming from Fabrizio Romano, that Cody Gakpo would still be keen on a move to Manchester United. Contacts with his agents are ongoing. He could be available for 60 to 65 million euro, including add-ons. Okay. Now, I think Cody Gakpo is going to sign for Manchester United, and I think it'll happen in January. I really do. I think this is the player that Ten Hag wants. A deal was very, very close to being done in the summer, and it fell through at the last moment for whatever reason. And he has spoke quite highly of Manchester United, and obviously he's been professional, being respectful of his current club, saying I'm concentrating on my current club, and he was saying the same about his country when he was playing at the World Cup, and he's had a good World Cup, and it's probably after adding maybe 10 to 15 million onto what PSV were initially looking for. I think we were quoted in the summer anywhere between 40 and 50 million. That's gone up now to 60 plus, which is understandable. He did have a decent World Cup, scored some goals, and Ten Hag seems to be quite a big admirer of him. And of course then, another player that we are being heavily linked with at the moment, but we're not the only club, is João Felix. And again, this comes from Fabrizio Romano, that Manchester United know João Felix is available. United wanted him in the summer, but now it's a different situation after signing Antony. I would be very surprised if Manchester United go out and sign João Felix. I think given there's probably a number of different things at play here. First of all is the finances, okay? Ten Hag knows that he can more than likely have a cheaper option with Cody Gakpo, who's a similar style of player, okay? And is he younger? Maybe he is. I think they're probably around the same age. And I think his knowledge of Cody Gakpo is probably that little bit better, given the fact that he's coming from the Dutch league, a league that Ten Hag knows all too well. I just have a feeling if you were to talk about Felix here, and again it said it here, there are no advanced negotiations with any club at this stage regarding João Felix. Manchester United are not in talks with Atletico Madrid at the moment. So I mean, if we were looking at signing João Felix, we would be in talks with Atletico Madrid already, because by all accounts we are in talks with PSV for Cody Gakpo at the moment. So I think Manchester United are going to move for Gakpo ahead of Felix. I really do. And I think that's probably the deal that Ten Hag wants. And you could say, are they reining in the purse strings a little bit and not going for the bigger name in terms of João Felix? But in a way, I am happy. I would be happy with either player. Let me say that first and foremost. I think both players would be great signings for Manchester United. What I do believe is, And again, I've said this on numerous occasions, and it's the one thing that resonated with me in relation to Ralph Rangnick. He was very adamant on the type of players that he wanted to sign, and the style of rebuild that Manchester United need. And what he's saying is you need to go out and buy young, hungry players that are on maybe their first or second year or their first or second contracts in their career, that are still making a name for themselves and looking to take that next step. And I think Cody Gakpo fits that mould a lot more than João Felix does. João Felix has been has been put on a pedestal an awful lot in relation to, the next Ronaldo and all of this kind of stuff, and he has fallen short of it. Now, look, let's be under no illusions here. I think the Diego Simeone way of playing at Atletico Madrid, I was just completely dumbfounded why a player like João Felix would actually sign for Atletico Madrid in the first place. But I think the type of player that we're looking at and the type of player that Ten Hag wants in his team are these young, hungry players. And I think Cody Gakpo fits that mould a lot more than João Felix. Let's see what people think on it here. Keep smashing the like button for us as well, guys. And if you're new to the channel, please do hit the follow button or hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. We're on the road to 21,000 followers on TikTok and 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. So please do hit the follow and subscribe button. It helps the channel out an awful lot. Daily content as well, so make sure you don't miss out. Owen says, would you pay 80 million for Kane? 80 million would probably be outside what I would be willing to pay for him. He's the wrong side of 30 now. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Kane is a fantastic player, and I think he would do really well at Manchester United. And I have a feeling that Manchester United could potentially look at going in for him in the summer, because I just have a feeling this whole Spurs thing is going to fall apart. I have a feeling Conte won't get the money again to reinvest as much as he wants, given the financial situation Spurs are in with repaying back their stadium and things like that. So he'll be out, or he'll walk. And will Spurs win that this year? I don't think they will. And Kane will probably see the writing on the wall and want out. Now, if he wants out, the first thing I would say about Kane is that he's not going to want to leave the Premier League, because he's on course to beat Alan Shearer's record. And I think he will if he can stay relatively injury-free for the rest of his career. I think he can break that record. He's not going to go to City because they have Haaland. He's not going to go to Liverpool because they paid 100 million for Andy Carroll. Darwin Núñez. He is probably not going to stay in London. He's not going to go to Arsenal. He's not going to go to Chelsea. And that basically leaves Manchester United. And I wouldn't be surprised if Manchester United see an opportunity in the summer and make a move for him. And I wouldn't be surprised if Harry Kane is playing for Manchester United next year. I really, really wouldn't. But the one thing that I would say in relation to that is it doesn't fit the age profile that Manchester United and more so Ten Hag are looking to go with. Now, I do know, look, we've signed Casemiro at 30 years of age, and he's been an absolute revelation, and there's nothing to say, there's nothing to suggest that Kane wouldn't, be an amazing signing. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. User says the Portuguese guy who got the hat-trick is a good player. Yeah, we were just talking about him. He has a 105 million release clause. I'd be very surprised. Richarlison probably leaving Spurs also, says user. I don't know if he'd go so quickly. Rafael Leao or Gakpo, says Robbo. Yeah, I mean, I would probably say Gakpo over Leao. Leao, I think, would be going for crazy money. Plonker says, Man U to bring in Sturgeon. He's better at penalties than Kane. And Guinness says Kane would be a great signing. I don't know, I've always seen Harry Kane. I could always picture Harry Kane in a Manchester United jersey for some reason. I don't know what it is. I think he would. it's the whole kind of number 9 that Manchester United have always seemed to have had down through the years. That out and out striker, the out and out number 9, the Andy Coles, the Dwight Yorks, the Ruud van Nistelrooys, the Wayne Rooney's, these types of players, Mark Hughes, these types of players. Yeah, I really can picture Kane in the United jersey, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does eventually sign. But again, there's not an awful lot of strikers out there at the moment. As a United fan, would you prefer us to go for Kane, who's proven in the Premier League, but is that little bit older, or would you prefer to go for a Victor Osimhen, who's not proven in the Premier League, but who is younger and is tearing it up in Italy? So you have to weigh up your options, and it's not always an easy choice. It really isn't, Guinness says he would score a shitload of goals for you. Yeah, I think he would. I really do. I think he'd fit into this Ten Hag way of playing. I really do. Plenty of pace around him in the likes of Anthony and Rashford. Imagine you could have Anthony, Rashford and Kane as your three front men, as your forward line. I think it really would be good. Kane wouldn't fit the player profile United are after. Gakpo is good but overrated. Lose, says Declan. Yeah, and look, and I said that, I think the player profile in terms of age is not going to suit. You would love a Harry Kane at a 25 or 26. But again, if there's no options out there, I mean, out and out number 9s are hard to come by at the moment in the Premier League, or in world football in general. Do you go out and get a Harry Kane and give him a 2-year contract with the option of a 3rd year, and have him, maybe in the last few good years of his career, and then look at next year, the year after, looking to, invest heavily in a long-term solution, or a long-term replacement for him. It certainly is an option, and it's an option that I don't think United will turn down straight away, or they won't turn their back on it. Alvarez will come available sitting on the bench for City. Not a hope. He's scoring goals. So he is. Go younger and got talent to shine better in the Prem under a manager like Ten Hag, says Robbo. Great point. Yeah, great point. And I think it goes back to what we were saying a few minutes ago. Getting these young, hungry players that are looking to make a name for themselves, and wanting that status, wanting that bigger contract, wanting to be the main man, so there's pros and cons to both. There really is. But yeah, let's get on to some players that are currently there at Manchester United in relation to I suppose contracts and things like that, and obviously there's been a few players currently within the squad that we're looking to tie down with new contracts. There's been interest supposedly from abroad in relation to some players, and the big one is Marcus Rashford. Obviously the PSG owner is a big admirer of him, wants to sign him, all of this kind of stuff, and we had this, was it last year or the year before, where he was linked with him as well, and yeah, they're probably, well, not probably, they're more than likely going to lose Kylian Mbappe in the summer. Now that does free up the left hand side for PSG, you would have to say, and Rashford would ideally slot into that position, and he would have a shitload of goals playing in the Farmers League and get knocked out of the Champions League in the quarter-final, semi-final every year. And if he's happy with that, then, let him go. No problem. He's not going to go, though. I think for the first time in a long time, there's something in the air that's positive. We're starting to get an identity back. We're starting to discover a way of playing. This manager is bringing us in the right direction, and I think for Rashford to get out now, I think he himself will be thinking, no, I would be stupid to do that. I'm a boyhood Manchester United fan. I'm from the area. Why would I get out now when things are starting to improve, and he's back playing with a smile on his face, he's enjoying his football again, I would be very surprised. But again, like I'm showing on the screen here on YouTube, again, this comes from Fabrizio Romano. He says Ten Hag wants Dalot and Rashford to stay long term and be part of the project. Both 2024 options will be triggered. So, excuse me. Obviously, Manchester United tend to put these option of a further year into players' contracts, and it looks like Dalot and Rashford, these 1 year extensions are going to be triggered. So that basically takes the pressure off of Manchester United. Nothing needs to be done as of now. You basically have another 12 months before, well, maybe not 12 months, that would be running it fine, because, if this time next year Rashford wasn't tied down to a new contract, he could speak openly and freely to clubs in January about a summer move in 2024. So it gives you that maybe 6 to 9 month window where you can sit down with the player, start negotiating a new deal, and I think Dalot deserves it, and Rashford, I have to say, this season especially, because I think they've both been two of our top performers this season, and all it took was a manager that knew what he was doing in relation to coaching and improving players on the training ground, and all of a sudden Rashford had a smile on his face again, and Dalot came out of absolutely nowhere, and is having a brilliant season as well. So I think it's great to see, players not making a comeback, but making a turn, and turning things around. Rashford has had a horrible time the last 12 months or so, playing with injuries and needed surgery and all that kind of stuff. And we see now this year he's playing with a smile on his face again. And yeah, it's great to see. And Dalot, like I said, is coming out absolutely out of nowhere. Now, obviously, the most Solo is in. Good to see you, pal. And the last post says, whoever buys United has to realise we need a new stadium and training ground. It's not just about buying United. A lot has to be done. I agree with you, absolutely. So if you're looking at anywhere between 6 and 7 billion to buy Manchester United, you're going to be looking at another billion to rebuild the stadium, probably $1 billion in players in the next 10 years, and another $1 billion into redevelopment of training grounds and maybe buying up land around Old Trafford and things like that, and turning it into a Manchester United land, like City are after doing. So you're talking someone needs to have 10 billion, to actually get this, club back to where it needs to be, Good business for both PSG and Man United for Rashford move, says user. I don't agree with that. Curto says, what club do you think João Felix will move to? I'm not sure. I could see him going to, I think Bayern Munich have been interested, are supposedly interested in him as well. So, I don't know. I really don't. Miata says, mate, who do you think will get sold first, United or Liverpool? Probably Manchester United. I think, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Liverpool fans or try and cause any friction or anything, but I think when Liverpool went up for sale, the owner said they were opening to sell, and like 2 weeks later, Manchester United owners come out and said we're open to selling as well. I bet you the Liverpool owners went, oh, for fuck's sake, why? Because now Manchester United is the bigger brand, right? And it always has been. And I'm not trying to be a United fan here or have a dig at Liverpool, but it is. So if you're a businessman looking to get a return on your investment, and who would you go with? You would more than likely go with Manchester United in terms of the revenue that they generate. Now, Liverpool do have some pluses. They have a newer stadium. They have a better team. They have... they're probably 2 to 3 years ahead of Manchester United in terms of their squad and training facilities and all of that kind of stuff. But you look at the revenue that Manchester United are taking in, still exceeds what Liverpool are doing, and that's basically just down to global fan bases and, you know, the brand being so big. But if you see what Manchester United are turning over in revenue and how well, I won't say well they're doing, but the potential, all right, so the money we're making now, while being ran into the ground by absolute atrocious owners, could you imagine if an owner comes in now and spends 7 billion on the club, another 3 billion on stadium, training ground and players, okay? In 20 years' time when he goes to sell it, he'll sell it for 50, not 50, but he'll sell it for 20 billion, you know. So I think the return on investment is probably a lot easier to justify at Manchester United. That's all I'm saying. But I do think that anyone going in to buy Liverpool are not going to lose money either, because they're in such a strong position as well, you know, and they're the two biggest clubs in you know, in England, so it makes sense. Sharma is in, good to see you, pal. Any news on a striker? Just what we were mentioning there. Cody Gakpo is the main one. I'd be surprised if we didn't do a deal for him, to be honest. And Ben is in and says, just be good to put any money in better than what we have now. Yeah, absolutely, Ben. Absolutely, man. And just having a bit of competency within the club is going to be fantastic, you know, and the money has been put in the right areas. We're investing it properly. We're you know, we're getting back to being run like a proper fucking football club, you know. But anyway, we're talking about player contracts and potential contract extensions, and the main one that Manchester United have been debating, well, not debating over, but Manchester United fans in general have been talking about, is Alejandro Garnacho. And again, I'll put it up on the screen here for anyone watching on YouTube. Anyone on TikTok, by the way, if you do want to head over to the YouTube channel, we're live there as well, United Community Channel. Click the link on my homepage, you can find it. We're putting some stuff up on the screen that you can't see on TikTok, so if you want to check it out, head over. So, Garnacho. Again, this has been, you know, widely reported over the last few days that Manchester United remain relaxed over Alejandro Garnacho's future amid fresh reports linking him with a move to Real Madrid. It goes on to say that sources say Manchester United are comfortable with Garnacho's current contract situation due to the length of his existing deal, but are keen to reward him for his progress. Okay, which is and absolutely rightly so. You would have to say the impact he has had coming into Manchester United first team this season has been absolutely brilliant. You know, it really has. And we can see the talent that he has and, you know, the potential star that he can be in the future, you know. And it's only right that Manchester United do reward him with a new contract. And they are going to reward him with a new contract. Absolutely. The issue is other teams supposedly are now interested in him, you know. And obviously the main interest, and we've heard it this week, that is of Real Madrid sniffing around looking to potentially sign Garnacho. And Garnacho strikes me as the type of player that will have his head turned if a Real Madrid officially come in for him, or a Bayern Munich or a Barcelona or whoever it may be. You know, I think he's a fantastic player, and I hope he stays at Manchester United for his entire career. I don't think he will. I get the kind of sense from him that he's probably going to be similar to Cristiano Ronaldo in a way that he wants to play in La Liga, maybe. He might want to play in Italy. He might want to, you know, I don't think he's going to be one of them players that's going to stay at Manchester United until he's 31, 32. I just don't see it, you know. But I do think, you know, we will get, you know, he will sign a new contract, a new 4 or 5 year deal, whatever it's going to be. And that will bring him up to what, maybe 24, 25. At that stage, then, depending on how well Manchester United are doing at the moment, or at that time, you would be hoping by that stage we're back challenging for league titles, we're doing well in the Champions League, potentially going on and challenging for them as well, that he will want to stay at Manchester United. But be under no illusions that if we're still in the same position now, in 5 years' time, when he's coming to maybe the last year of his contract and we offer him a new one, he's going to say, sorry lads, I just have that feeling about him. But look, don't get me wrong, I love the chap. But in relation to the links with Real Madrid, it has been reported by Marca today, which is obviously the Spanish sports outlet. They say Real Madrid have no interest in signing Alejandro Garnacho, with the Spanish club betting on the wide man signing a new deal at Manchester United. So basically, according to that report, Real Madrid are I suppose cooling their interest in him because they're pretty certain he's going to sign a new deal at Manchester United, which is great news for us. It really is, because he's going to be the poster boy for Manchester United for the next 3, 4, 5 years, hopefully. So yeah, and he deserves it as well. I mean, we can see the talent he has and the impact he's had on the team. In the few cameo roles that he's played, and I think he's at the right club at the right time. With the right manager at the right time, because Ten Hag, as much as he doesn't take any bullshit and he won't hold any prisoners, if you were looking for a manager if you were 19 years of age and you were looking for a manager to improve under, I think he probably has one of the top managers in the world. You're looking at Guardiola, you're looking at Ten Hag, you're looking at maybe a Thomas Tuchel and these types of managers. And no disrespect to any of the Liverpool fans, I didn't say Klopp for a reason, because he tends to not be on the coaching field a lot. He's the manager and he has coaches underneath him. So I think it's perfect for Garnacho. I think he's coming into the team at the right time. He's at the right age. Hopefully he'll sign a new deal, and he's got the right manager to improve, beyond his limits. Absolutely. Let's see what people are saying here. Well, Boss says we're going to sign Piers Morgan. He makes a good replacement for Ronaldo. Mario says Charlie Savage and Zidane need to start getting game time. Yeah, maybe not in big games, not in Premier Leagues. Maybe I watched him. Zidane Iqbal, I think, is ahead of Charlie Savage at the moment, but I wouldn't be in any hurry to throw him into loads of games. Play him in the Carabao Cup games, in I was going to say Europa League games, but then the group stages are gone. It's Barcelona next. But look, they will get, I reckon they'll get some game time throughout the remainder of the season. There's going to be a lot of games coming thick and fast as well. Oak says United need to start winning leagues, cups, if they want to get the best players. And Jag Tag says Real have strength in that position already with young players. He probably won't get a game. And yeah, but it's never stopped Real Madrid in the past, has it? They just like hoovering up players. And yeah, could I see Garnacho wearing a Real Madrid jersey in the future? Probably. Getting unveiled like Ronaldo did, doing the keepy uppies and all that. The Shield is in of Ballycastle. Hey, United Community Channel, how are you, sir? Good, pal. Thanks for joining us. You're more than welcome. Again, guys, we're live on YouTube as well. Anybody on TikTok wants to check it out, link is on my homepage. Just search United Community Channel either. Please leave me alone, says Mbappe to United, easy transfer. Jesus, I don't think that'd be an easy transfer. Madrid always want ready-made players, says Well Boss. That's true. Amazon is buying us, says TM. Well, look, that's what the links are saying. Whether it happens or not, we don't know. But look, I certainly think, we can see that Manchester United are being linked with, very, very, very wealthy organisations and corporations and business owners and things like that. So I think if we get taken over by one of them, you're going to have an influx of serious money, and let's just hope, like we said before, that the money is put into the right areas and put into the hands of smart, competent people that can do good with it. Buy the right players, develop the ground, develop the facilities, put businessmen in business areas, put football people in football areas, Whisper with Greenwood, says 7. whatever. Greenwood will probably never play for United again. But yeah, make sure you, if you're new to the channel, guys, make sure you hit the follow button as well. We do daily Manchester United content. We're doing watch-alongs for all of the games as well. Obviously, they're back. We're actually doing watch-alongs for the World Cup at the moment as well. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to hit the follow button on TikTok. If you're new to the YouTube channel as well, hit the subscribe button there. Anyone on TikTok, you get the full experience on YouTube. So check that out as well. Link is on the homepage, or just search United Community Channel. Riki said Amad Diallo just scored again for Sunderland. He's on fire. Yeah, he is. And I was going to say, I was going to do a right Keane and say all credit to him, but he's been playing well. I would be in no hurry to bring him back though. He's getting game time there. He's doing well. It's doing his confidence the world of good as well. So yeah, happy days. Who will be world champions, says Edrius. I think France are going to win it. I would love to see Messi lifted for Argentina, but I think France will be the team. I really do. I said it before the game the other night that I thought the winner of the World Cup was going to come out of that France and England game. I think whichever one of them won it. Apologies to, I'm not trying to rub salt in the wounds to any English fans or anything, but I really did think before the game that whoever won that game is probably going to go on and win the World Cup. I think France will beat Morocco, and I think they're a better team than both Croatia and Argentina. And then also, if England had got there, I think England would have... Yeah, they would have beaten Morocco, and they would have had a very, very serious chance of beating the likes of Argentina or Croatia in the final. So yeah. Watching from Kenya, says user, good to see you, pal. Colin says hello from Northern Ireland, up the road from me. Good to see you, Colin. Ben says, come on, Morocco. And Pierce says, Southgate will join Bayern Munich next season, and Wayne Rooney may join England team as manager. Both of them things, Pierce, will never happen. Let's see. Decky says, any updates on a traditional striker with OT rather than these tricky winger type players? Yeah, I mean, look, there's not many out and out number 9s in world football really at the moment, is there not? And it's maybe the way the game has, I won't say evolved, but the way it's been played at the moment. A lot of the managers like to play these kind of false 9s when you're playing 3 up front. You play a false 9 and you play with inverted wingers, so the false 9 drops out and the inverted wingers get into the space that's created because of that. And to be honest with you, Ten Hag seems to be one of them managers. We play, say when Anthony Martial plays there, naturally Martial drops out into the 10 position, and you see what happens. Rashford, you see the second goal against Liverpool, absolute perfect example. Martial dropped out into midfield, brought 2 centre backs with him, and all of a sudden he gets the ball, spins on it, Rashford is gone, slip ball into him, and it's away. And even you look at, say, probably the most out and out number 9 that we've seen in the Premier League over the last 10 years is Harry Kane. But look how he's been played at Spurs, and look at it, the way he plays the game himself. Naturally now he's dropping more and more out into midfield, in terms of link-up play and things like that, rather than just saying, fuck you, I'm staying up here, you do your job, get it into that 6-yard box and I'll score. Now, I'm all for that number 9. That's what I do like. The Van Nistelrooys of this world, the Michael Owens, the Robbie Fowlers, fucking who else? I don't know. Van Persie's, Rooney's, these types of players. Didier Drogba's in the 6-yard box, bang, goal instantly. And I would like to see that happening. I would like to see us eventually get, a player like that, or we were discussing earlier on that United could potentially go in for Harry Kane in the summer, and I wouldn't be surprised if they did. I really wouldn't. Paul says, Come on, Modric, become the midfield goat. But to be fair, France have the edge experience of it. Yeah, absolutely. Maguire contract extension needed. Yeah, we're running out of things to talk about now. Decky says, would love a plan B as a 4-4-2, pinging balls into the box. Yeah, just bring back Beckham. Start whipping crosses in. Dwight York. Unreal. Gakpo or Osimhen or both in January, says Daniel. Well, I don't think we'll get Osimhen. I don't think Osimhen will leave Napoli, at least until the summer, because they're tearing it up at the moment in Serie A, and he's tearing it up as well, and they're actually doing quite well in the Champions League too. So Osimhen is not going to. They're not going to sell him in January, but Gakpo is gettable. Absolutely, he's gettable, and then maybe in the summertime, then you go in for an Osimhen or a Harry Kane or an Nkunku or a Sesko or whoever it may be. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, guys, and again, like I said, if you're new to the channel, please do hit the follow button. We're closing in on 21,000. I think we're just over. Let me see. Oh no, we're not. We're actually a ways off. We're about 600 away from 21,000. So if you're new to the channel, hit the follow button. Really helps it out a lot. Hit the like button as well for me, and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, guys. Anybody watching on TikTok, I think we're just over 100 away from 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Link is on my homepage, or just search United Community Channel. Like I said, it helps us out an awful lot, trying to grow on the channel and all that kind of stuff. So I really do appreciate it. But yeah, we're doing a watch along tomorrow night, guys, both on YouTube and on TikTok for the World Cup semi-final. I don't think I'm going to be able to do the one on Wednesday because I've got a game myself. So I can't. I'm not sure what time it's on at yet. If it's a late game, I think sometimes we can get games at 9, half 9. So if I'm playing that late, I'll be able to do it. But chances are I'm not going to be able to do the whole game on Wednesday. But we're definitely going to be live tomorrow night for the first semi-final. So like I said, hit the follow button, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like. You know, the watch-alongs and all of that, the full experience there. We've got the scoreboard, the timer, starting 11, all on the screen. So make sure you're subscribing to United Community Channel wherever we are. Riki says, I love Dumfries too. Defence be just about complete with cover and all. Yeah, absolutely. And Ten Hag is a big admirer of him as well. Jag says, do you ever spend any time with your wife and kid? I do. This doesn't take too long, you know. So usually what happens is, we do the lives at 7:30, and she puts my daughter to bed, and then she goes and walks the dog, and by the time I'm finished this, she's home. So we sit down and watch. We're watching The Sopranos at the moment. So yeah, it's all good, man. It's all good. Rebel says, what do you make of the 8 billion price tag? Yeah, I'm not surprised by it, Rebel. I'm really not. But the one thing that does mean, you know, it filters out the riffraff of buyers. You know, you're going to have serious buyers with serious money behind them. So it's not all a bad thing. It really isn't. I don't think it'll go for 8 billion in the end. I think probably around 6, maybe 6.5 to 7. But yeah, guys, we're going to finish up there. Really do appreciate everyone who's watched, all of the likes, all of the comments. It's been really fun. It's the first news show we've done in a long time, so we're going to start getting it back as well. We're going to be doing the transfer talk shows as well now that we're closing in on the transfer windows. And of course, next Wednesday, I think it's Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we've got our first competitive Manchester United game back. We're playing Burnley at home in the Carabao Cup. Vincent Kompany returns. So yeah, really looking forward to that. So like I said, guys, if you haven't already done so, hit the like, share, subscribe, follow, all of that good stuff. I really do appreciate all the support and the kind words. You're absolute legends. We'll be back tomorrow night, like I said, for the first watch along of the World Cup semi-finals. We'll be live from 6:45 tomorrow. So until then, peace out.